In episode 4 of Disney Star Wars The Acolyte, we're on the planet Kofar, and May is still trying to fulfill her life's mission of getting revenge on 4 Jedi. For something. Maybe the show will at some point get around to explaining exactly what, and I can't help but notice, editor, that once again, you've put a picture of Snarky J up. Fine. The episode is really short again. It's around 27 minutes long and reportedly cost $25 million or so that's about $1 million a minute. Now, I just reviewed the film Big Trouble in Little China, which is a very good film, and was 1 hour 40 minutes long and cost less than this episode did. And The Acolyte's ratings just keep on dropping. It's now on a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm already braced for disappointment, firstly because this is The Acolyte, and secondly because I just got back from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, where I'd intended to go and see a version of the marble sculpture The Three Graces by Antonio Canova. But last weekend someone threw a cigarette butt at it and it burnt down. And to that you may be saying, but that's impossible. And yes it is, just not according to Disney Star Wars The Acolyte and last episode where a massive stone fortress burned down. And can a fortress burn down? Maybe if you make it out of coal, but even that wouldn't explain how exceptionally volatile this one was, or why anyone would build it like that. Last episode we also learned that the twin sisters, Osha and May, were raised in a lesbian witch cult, who were seemingly all done in that fire that May started, while trying to burn her sister alive for trying to leave. The cult didn't believe in the Force. They saw it as the thread, a thing that binds together all living things. And if that's the case, just don't ask how they levitate boulders or fruit. And strangely, the whole cult reminded me of an old video from far more popular than me YouTuber ShoeOnHead from 5 years ago, and it was this video. Can I get a picture of ShoeOnHead, please, editor? And no, that's Snarky J again. And yes, I already gathered that you like Snarky J doing cosplay. And I know the outfits are tight, but you're frankly not helping. Listen, can I get a picture of ShoeOnHead now, please? Thank you. Yeah, ShoeOnHead did a video about a strange... well, how can I put it? It was a church of lesbians that were obsessed with chanting and, well, vaginas. And I can't help but think their weird church would have taken off more if they just would have allowed men in. Men, after all, probably would have been the most keen group to turn up for Sunday worship.
Those look good. A big salty clam would sure go great with this heat. You want one, Daff?
No.
Seriously, Fred, again? But you see what I mean, Fred's an animal, but this would in part explain why Daphne has put up with him for so long. But it was this part of ShoeOnHead's video that came to mind when I watched The Acolyte.
You haven't heard their chants yet. Cloth pads absorb pools of red, bled, and shed my monthly spool of red thread.
And seriously, it was this that made me kind of suspicious that Disney just tried to make Star Wars and the Force all about periods. And it wouldn't really be a shock, would it? They, after all, did make a whole animated movie about them called Turning Red. Hollywood writers are just completely obsessed with their junk, and I don't know why Americans call it junk. I don't think my bits are junk, they're great fun. I don't think women's bits are junk. You really do confuse me sometimes, America, like when you say, I could care less when you mean you couldn't. File that right in the confusion drawer next to the ICP and truck nuts. In order to explain what's wrong with this episode though, I'll have to get into spoilers. The episode opens up and we're with the Wookiee Jedi, who's on May's hit list. Which could be interesting, at least we may get a good fight scene, and no, we don't. He sodding dies off camera without getting a line. May and the apothecary have landed on the Wookiee's planet. This would be the apothecary that helped May poison a Jedi Master in episode 2, confessed to the Jedi for doing it, and then the Jedi let him go.
We know you supplied May with the poison that killed Master Tobin. We have your confession.
If you cooperate, we will consider letting you go with a warning.
And what a good choice that was. They didn't scan his mind to find out if he knew anything else, as they've been shown to be able to do in this series in episode 1. They let him go for being an accomplice to the poisoning of a Jedi Master, and now he's helping to get another one. This writing is horrible, and it's still better than episode 3 and the interpretive witch dancing.
The power of one! The power The power of many.
Meanwhile, the Jedi have gone back to Coruscant. So no hurry to go and help the Wookiee Jedi who's about to be assassinated. They should have been able to get to him first, really. They just didn't bother. The Jedi, meanwhile, are training.
Keep each movement tight, yet subtle.
And yeah, doesn't that movement just scream tight and subtle? Also, maybe Disney is listening a little bit, as they've actually allowed someone with red hair to be in one of their films. Meanwhile, the Jedi Masters are discussing what to do about May and her master, and none of them seem to know about the Sith existing. Aren't they supposed to know that at this point? I thought about it and concluded that I don't care. I have no idea what is canon in Star Wars any longer. They got rid of the extended universe. Then they brought Thrawn back in. Is Darth Bane canon at this point? Because that was quite a good book. I have no idea, and I don't care. Master Sol is still lobbying for trying to bring May in alive, despite her trying to put knives in him repeatedly in episode 2. Sol failed to catch May last time he was sent after her. He's also one of the 2 remaining Jedi who's on her hit list. So what do the Jedi do in their infinite wisdom? Why, of course, they send Sol to the planet they think the assassin is going to. Sol really values life, it seems. That's why he's not going to kill May. Oh, apart from this bug thing later. It's Star Wars, so that thing may be sentient. It was maybe just attracted to the light. Maybe you're in its home, treading on its young. But that thing, just cut it in half. May's done in 2 Jedi Masters now, but let her off. Whereas that thing looks icky. Seriously, did Sol even know what he just cut in half? Osha is unhappy about the bug thing getting lightsabered, but Jecki tells her,
It's always an honour to get to witness anything or anyone transform into the Force.
and if that's the Jedi's philosophy, why do they even care about losing masters? They're just getting transformed into the Force. It's an honour. Why not transform May into the Force? I frankly wish Jecki would get transformed into the Force. Sol's superior, played by Leslie Headland, the showrunner's wife, is angry that Sol didn't tell her May could be alive, and Sol says he saw her fall. And why would you assume that would do her in? You know she can use the Force, and this is a universe where 2 episodes ago you had a guy levitating in his sleep. I just can't with this writing. The Jedi send a task force to go and get the Wookiee Jedi, and Yord gives a briefing on the way that Jecki and Osha don't listen to. Hollywood has a long tradition of casting black guys and then emasculating them. See John Boyega. Black guys are always welcome as long as they agree to have their nuts removed and dress in drag, like Jamie Foxx, Owen Chris Tucker, Wesley Snipes, Martin Lawrence, Arsenio Hall, Ving Rhames, Tracy Morgan. One of the scary parts of that is how convincing a woman Arsenio Hall makes. Also that anyone thought it would be a good idea to put Ving Rhames in a frock. Osha is happy that her name has been cleared, which it hasn't. Even though it would be really easy to do using that whole compulsion thing the Jedi did in episode 1. She could still be in on it with her sister. In episode 2, they had Osha as a prisoner and gave her a stun gun. In this one, they just go the whole hog and give her a blaster, a lethal weapon, and have her stand behind one of the people on the hit list. What's the worst that could happen? The Jedi have no reasons to trust Osha and quite a few reasons not to. Someone matching her description was seen bumping off 2 Jedi Masters. The person they now think did it is her twin sister, who she let get away in episode 2. Yord tries to insist she hand over the blaster. I don't even know where she got it from. It seems the Jedi gave it to her for some reason and she refuses, so Yord just lets it go. The Wookiee meanwhile is not responding to transmissions, so the Jedi have brought a tracker along who can smell the Wookiee from their landing site. It's unclear how long ago the Wookiee was even there. It appears the scent of Wookiee is just that strong that it can be picked up from miles away through a forest. I mean, can you imagine being stuck on the Millennium Falcon with one for months? Most of the episode is spent walking slowly through the woods, so almost nothing happens, and compared to last episode that's still an upgrade. Meanwhile, May has had a change of heart. She says,
Attacking a defenseless person goes against everything the Jedi stands for. How do you kill someone like that?
And that contradicts what she said in episode 1.
Jedi do not attack the unarmed.
Yes, you do.
And the fact she's done in 2 Jedi Masters. May then decides that now she knows her sister Osha is alive, she doesn't want to get the Wookiee in Sol any longer, despite that being her entire motivation right from the start of this series, and for the last decade or so. She also had no reason to think Osha was not alive in the first place given what they showed. May fell off of a platform. Why would May think Osha, who was fine when she last saw her, was not alive? Just none of this makes any sense. Why did the sisters miss each other when the last time they saw each other, May tried to burn Osha alive?
I won't let you leave. You can't go. We're stuck here now. It's not up to you. You can't stop me. Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
Why did Osha keep the same haircut as the sister who tried to burn her alive? Just nothing in this show makes any sense. May then traps the apothecary in a snare and decides to hand herself over to the Wookiee. Only when she gets there, the Wookiee has already been done in off camera, and then the Jedi arrive, and they will think she did it. Then May's mysterious master arrives, force pushes all of the Jedi, and that's the end of the episode, and I wonder who it could be. How would the master get there so fast and know May was betraying them? It could be the apothecary poisoner in disguise. The apothecary could be a misdirect. I thought about it and concluded that I don't care. I don't care about the identity of the bad guy that they've done nothing with and who has had maybe 4 lines of dialogue in 4 episodes. This episode was not very well written again. It was full of contradictions and nonsense, but at least it had some atmosphere and no interpretive dance and witch chanting.
The power of 1, the power of 2, the power of